Hi, my name's Jess Hooper. I'm an anthrozoologist from the UK, and I'm going to speak about civet labour within the Kopi Luwak or civet coffee industry. Kopi Luwak is an exclusive coffee produced by the partial digestion and excretion of coffee beans by Asian palm civets. The civet's digestive enzymes are said to produce a less bitter coffee, which is low in caffeine and prized by coffee lovers for its nutty aroma and smooth, rich taste. As the traditional Indonesian story goes, Kopi Luwak came to be during Dutch colonial rule, when indigenous farmers were forbidden to consume their own coffee harvest, and so turned instead to the scat of civets, who would frequent the coffee plantations at night and select the ripest coffee cherries for consumption. Removed from civet feces, the cherries were cleaned, dried, and roasted, revealing what is said to be a superior tasting coffee. Wild collection has since given way to the cage production, and just as Foucault described biopolitics as the act of state control over human bodily processes, so too is it the case for civets embroiled in the Kopi Luwak industry. State control of the civet is exerted by the Indonesian government, who issue permits for wild harvesting, captive husbandry, and home food production certificates to regulate the cage production of Kopi Luwak. Thus, the civet's body is mechanized as part of a mouth-to-anus production line. Kopi Luwak production is concealed, occurring in people's homes, backyards, and garages, in what Singh refers to as marginalized, out-of-the-way places. Kopi Luwak agro-tourism, in comparison, has emerged as a popular tourist activity throughout Bali, marketed as an exclusive and authentic Balinese experience, one in which the fantasy of transparency is implied through the curated experience of viewing its apparent production from bean to cup. Tourists are shown coffee cherries before, during, and after the Kopi Luwak process. A short tour through a curated garden includes caged civets and an elderly Balinese woman roasting beans by hand on a fire. Yet no civet coffee is produced here. The terrain is unsuitable and the animals too few. In tourist sites where caged civets are on display, civets are described by onlookers as workers and helpers who receive payment in the form of coffee cherries. Thus, the civet is seen to enter a sort of formal business contract. Even the absurdity of Kopi Luwak production itself is likened to work, as was ironically highlighted by the following tourist who remarked, "While looking at these depressing cat things crapping out coffee, it reminded me of what my face must look like while I go to work on a Monday morning." The comparison made here further demonstrates that the caged civet is an evocative reminder of the unequal power dynamics inherent in the human labour forces which prop up capitalist systems across the world. Where a tourist can appreciate their own figurative bondage to such systems, the civet's literal captivity is a depressing reminder of the status quo. In what Gunther calls animal resistance, the showcasing of behaviours such as heightened or human-directed aggression in response to confinement, civets in tour sites frequently resist captivity through the expression of abnormal repetitive behaviour and biting. The display of stereotyped pacing and self-mutilation led many reviews to state that the civets are going mad or losing their mind. For these onlookers, the civets were prisoners and captives. In 2017, we began to see a shift in the promotion of civets from their cage and into the hands of tourists. Their reflexive bodily reactions to bite and scratch are now halted with sedatives, a way of enabling safe human interaction so that their bodies may go on to be digitally consumed as photo props. Already stripped from their ability to select their own food and express species-typical behaviours, the liberation from a cage into the realms of unconsciousness simply reshapes the cage from one that is literal to one that is figurative as they become trapped in their own bodies, dispossessed of control. In conclusion, no matter the job title as worker, helper, producer, or entertainer, it is the civet's labour in all its guises which prop up the success of the Kopi Luwak industry, whether it be hidden or in plain view. Thank you very much. I welcome questions.